everybody. It is a Wednesday. As a matter of fact, it's Wednesday, March 11th, and it is Supernatural News and Parashare right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. It is Darkness Radio. I almost forgot what day it was. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. With me is my co-hostess. She is the... Wait a minute. I've got my list of nicknames here. See, I've got my list right here. If you're watching it. Yes. So I will read them off. She is our Duchess of Death, our Mistress of the Macabre, our Princess of the Paranormal, our Sorceress of the Supernatural, our Merchant of the Metaphysical. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Ms. Mallie Fox. Hi, Mallie.
Hello, Tim.
I only skipped one of them because it's kind of redundant, so I'll bring that one back next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we'll rotate them, if you will. That's what we do. We'll rotate them in.
Perfect.
Of course, if you have nicknames for Mallie that are nice, by the way, I won't read any naughty ones or bad ones. Send them in. Tim at darknessradio.com. I'm always looking for more supernatural nicknames for Mallie. So, yes, indeed. Now, I should preface this, folks. Mallie is playing hurt for us today, so I greatly appreciate it. So we're giving her a little bit of a break. I'm gonna read all the stories today. So
yes, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you being with us today, Mal. So I greatly appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Just a little under the weather today.
I'm sorry. I hear it too. I greatly appreciate you doing that, because I know how that is. It is no good, and it's not fun. It's not fun, that's for sure. And bear with me, folks, because I'm working double duty this week. So I'm up in St. Cloud early in the morning, then I'm coming down here and I'm recording this show in the afternoon. By the way, tomorrow's show, Mallie, will emanate from St. Cloud.
Oh, okay.
Not from the home
pace.
Yeah, not from the home studio here, but we'll do it from St. Cloud, Minnesota. So you'll get to see, if you're watching the video, you'll get to see it from the studios from St. Cloud, Minnesota. Now, here's the interesting part of this for you paranormal enthusiasts. I mentioned this to Jess yesterday. The studios in St. Cloud are haunted.
Get out, really?
Yes. And I'll give you a little bit of a tease, like from yesterday. So, as I was describing to Jess, and again, I got to get you and Jess to these studios, and we got to bring equipment so we can investigate this place.
That would be fun.
The Leighton Broadcasting in St. Cloud is built. The studios are built down into the ground, so it's almost like bedrock. It looks like a cave.
Okay.
It literally looks like a cave, like it's built into the rock, right? So when you walk around the offices and walk around into the studios look like a giant aquarium because they're built and sunk down, right? So you walk into the office space, and the office space looks like normal office space. But then when you walk down the hallway to go like on the left side, if you're walking down the hallway, the left side is the office space, which has a walled off area, which you really can't see if you go down the hallway because it's all paneling and stuff. But then you look to the right and there's windows for two of the studios. But if you go down a staircase, you go down into a sunken area where all the studios are. So you can walk down this hallway that's got windows to the left and to the right, and they're sunk down on floor level. So you actually have to go down staircases, or there's a main level where you can walk indoors to the ones on the right, or go down into a sunken level where the ones on the left are. It's a very weird layout. Okay. And I don't know if it was done this way by a person who designed the building to screw with your mind, or why this is. Right. Yeah. But when you go back into the office area, there's like when you go way back to the back of the office area, there's like a little kitchenette area, which is very nice. But you get an eerie feeling when you go back there. Because there's two really nice conference rooms. Okay. But again, the pillars that are there are all like, they have like rock facades to them, which I thought they were just rock facades, but they're not. They're actually made out of rock. Oh. Right? So I thought, okay, this is different, And Mr. Leighton, who owns the company, who's very nice, by the way. He's a very nice gentleman. In fact, I saw him today, as a matter of fact, when I was up there. Said hello to him. I'm surprised he knows who I am, but that's just me. But I think it was his father or his grandfather who bought the building, formed the company, had a very specific reason why he wanted the building the way he wanted the building, right? But you have these two conference rooms, and the one conference room has this, and the main one that they use has this giant oak conference table, gorgeous oak conference table that everyone can sit around. And they use that for staff meetings. They use it for the Christmas party. They use it for the Christmas party to like give gifts to everyone. And they give these amazing gifts to everybody. Everybody gets a gift, right? Mm-hmm. On top of a wonderful meal. They do not only a potluck, but again, Mr. Layton makes amazing barbecue, his own barbecue. Mm-hmm. And it's not people meat. I know what you people are thinking. I know how macabre you people are. It's not people meat. But no, he makes amazing ribs. They're so good. I can't wait.
You do like your barbecue.
Oh, I love my barbecue. So, but even during the day for the Christmas party, when you go back into this conference room, it feels eerie. There's this dark feeling. Now, when you walk around this building, it's naturally very dark. There's not a lot of lighting around. Okay. But there's a lot of neon lighting and strip lighting around the studios. And there's fluorescent lighting in the office area. Now, they tend to keep things very dark because it's very expensive to light this area. Mm-hmm. So, like when I'm in on the weekends, there's almost no lights on whatsoever, which makes it even creepier because there's a lot of rock facade. It feels like a cave. There's no lights. You get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll speed up the story so you get the idea, and I'll tell you a little bit about this history. So I've heard in the past, now I've been up there for about 8 years, right? And I've heard in the past, there's one or two ghosts here. And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. And then, when they find out about the show and they find out about what it is we do here, they're like, yeah, there's one or two ghosts here. As a matter of fact, I've had an encounter. Tell me about it. Okay. And
right.
they'll tell me about, well, I felt someone touch me when I was in the kitchen, or I felt someone touch me when I was in the conference room. The creepiest I've ever heard is I heard someone scream in my ear.
Oh.
Or I heard someone scream, help me. Or I heard someone scream, get me out of here.
Oh.
And it turns out that a former jock that worked there committed suicide. And I thought, okay, that's probably a pretty common story, right?
Yeah. Until
one of my colleagues that I work with was in the same day I was, and he's one of the weekend jocks at KNSI, and told me, yeah, I worked with the guy. I know who it is who's in that conference room. And I said, are you kidding? He goes, no. And he goes, and I had an experience with him. I heard his voice. And yeah, he screamed to me. He screamed in my ear when I was here. And I went, he said, yeah, I went back in the kitchen. I went to go get coffee, and I heard his voice. And it was just basically, help me.
Jeez.
And he said, I was freaked out. And I went, oh. And I said, and you still show up for work, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I have had one, I won't name the psychic person who came up there that weekend. But I had one psychic person come up because I didn't know what to believe at the time, but it was very early in the process that we were up there. This person went into that conference room and said, I do not like the feeling up here. I just don't. But yes, there's 2, possibly 3 spirits up here.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting little building.
Yeah.
Yeah. very interesting little place to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Huh. Yeah. Next time I'm in town, we should definitely go there.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. Interesting indeed. I think if I remember right, I think they said they had paranormal investigators in there at one time or another.
Oh, okay.
But it wouldn't take anything at all to ask for permission for us to go in and investigate it.
Right.
I'm sure they'd let us. So especially if we're respectful. So.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyways, interesting stuff. But yeah. And I'm sure we could videotape some of it and put it on the website so people could see it.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. I don't like it when they scream in your ear.
No. I mean, but
I've had that happen a couple of times.
From what I was told by the colleague that I had talked to, this jock who had killed himself was very troubled. I mean, mentally was very troubled.
Oh.
He had a lot of issues. So, yeah.
Oh.
So that was kind of a sad story, and I can get more information from him about, but we sat and talked about him for about half hour one Saturday. But it was it was a really sad story.
Or what if he was yelling, "Help me," because he was trapped?
See that I got
or,
that.
Or you know what I mean? Was he yelling, "Help me," because when he was alive, he had mental problems, or was he yelling, "Help me," because he was trapped and he couldn't?
I kind of got the combo platter on that deal. Like maybe he was trapped, or maybe he was in pain, or maybe he, what if he came to? That's the thing. What if he as he crossed over in death, he suddenly comes to, he doesn't have that mental illness anymore. And he realizes, I'm trapped at the station. I don't know how to, I don't know how to cross over. I don't know how to get peace. You hate to have that thought or that feeling, but,
But then I'm wondering what if he's haunting the building, how sometimes we've had experiences where the spirit or ghosts have interfered with our technology, you know what I mean? With when we're on air, we've had weird things happen. Has he interfered? Have you had any interference with your recordings?
I never have when I've been up there, but there was talk a couple of times of hearing crosstalk and stuff like that in commercials and stuff like that. But again, when you have stuff like that happen, you just erase it and you keep going, because people, especially when you've got deadlines and stuff like that, and you hear a little bit of crosstalk and something, you go, well, that's weird. You erase it and you keep going, right?
Yeah. Kind of just write it off.
Yeah. You don't think, oh, it's a ghost, I got to save it, when when you've got deadlines, right?
True.
You just think, well, that's kind of weird. It's an artifact, and you get rid of it and you keep going. Now, there are weird glitches that happen up there. Systems will go wonky.
You've told me a couple times where you're,
Yeah. And that happens a lot up there. Yeah. I've had entire systems just go down on me for no reason. I mean, not like, not like that, but,
Yeah.
I got to throw the humor in there. But I mean, entire systems just shut down on me for no reason.
Right.
Yeah. At the most inopportune times.
Yeah.
And it's almost like something's trying to get your attention.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So, but with that, we should get moving on the program. But I figured I would mention tomorrow's show is emanating from KNSI. So we'll see.
Very cool.
And we're talking with Richard Estep tomorrow about his new book about ghosts and monsters, and so maybe we might stir a little something up.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
Yeah. So
he's a nice guy. I like him.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Cool.
You know me, I'm a little shit disturber. So why not? It almost feels like it's meant to be, right?
Yeah. Maybe.
Let's jump into things right away, Mallie, with interstellar news. We'll start off right away with this story about a U.S. Air Force general with UFO connections who's gone missing in New Mexico. Huge story this past week. And it has made the rounds on social media. A lot of people have been taken aback by this story. A lot of conspiracy theories about why this has happened. Retired General William Neal McCasland and his disappearance has sparked rumors and speculation. The 68-year-old who retired from the U.S. Air Force in 2013 vanished without a trace after last being seen on Friday night near Quail Run Court Northeast in Albuquerque. Now, according to his wife, he had left home without his phone or his watch, a fact that she found particularly odd as being an experienced outdoorsman. This isn't something he would normally do. He also suffers from a medical condition that makes his disappearance even more of a concern. Authorities have since launched an investigation in the hopes of tracking him down. Our priority is finding Mr. McCasland safely, said Sheriff John Allen of the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. Our investigators and search teams are working continuously, and we're coordinating closely with our local, state, and federal partners. Back during the U.S. Air Force days, McCasland was often associated with the UFO phenomenon. He once headed up the Air Force Research Laboratory at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, where he managed a $2.2 billion science and technology program. The base has long been associated with black projects and rumors of reverse-engineered alien technology, and is also the place where the Roswell UFO debris was said to have been taken. It is also connected to Project Blue Book, which looked at thousands of UFO cases. While it's unlikely that McCasland's disappearance has anything to do with any of that, it still remains a mystery exactly why he went out, where he went, and ultimately what happened to him. Now, the big conspiracy theory online, Mallie, is this. Mm-hmm. Right around the time McCasland goes missing is also the time where the government says, where President Trump puts out the truth, or on Truth Social, that, hey, it's time for us now to put out everything we have on UFOs and UAPs.
Okay.
The exact same time. Yet the general goes missing. The one man who can answer everything on what we have.
Okay, I see your point. Yeah.
At that same time, the blackvault.com, our friends over at the blackvault.com had everything taken offline, sanitized a bit, and then put back. Why? Right?
Yeah, no, that is kind of weird.
So is this do we take out the players that can tell you the truth, and then we get the government's version of the truth? Right?
Yeah.
Do we get the real truth, or do we get the sanitized version of the truth?
Yeah. And there was no history of like dementia or anything?
According to this, no.
Oh, okay.
Just that he has a health condition. Now, it could be, they didn't specify what it is. Could be a heart condition,
Yeah.
Could be a diabetic condition. Who knows? But it didn't say anything having to do with dementia.
Okay.
Okay. Our next story, UFO hacker Gary McKinnon found files referencing non-terrestrial officers. The mystery gets deeper, Mallie. The 60-year-old made global headline news back in the 2000s when he hacked into U.S. government systems. It was one of the most hotly debated news stories of the decade, and even today, more than 20 years later, questions still remain over exactly what Scottish hacker Gary McKinnon actually found. Accessing the internet in the early 2000s from his girlfriend's London apartment, McKinnon managed to gain access to restricted NASA and U.S. military computers in an effort to find evidence of UFOs and extraterrestrial visitors that was being covered up by the U.S. government. His clandestine skills were matched only by his I can't say it. Naivety? Something like that. Yeah, and it's been a long day. I've been up since 3:30. As when he was caught, he ended up facing demands for him to be extradited to the U.S. to stand trial for crimes that would have most likely seen him spend the rest of his life in prison. The case received coverage around the world and fueled extensive debates over another or rather whether McKinnon, who has Asperger's syndrome, was fit to stand trial or should be forced to go to the U.S. Fortunately for him, Home Secretary Theresa May ultimately blocked his extradition. More than 2 decades on, McKinnon still talks about what he found on the U.S. government systems. Speaking this week on American Alchemy with Jesse Michaels, he described seeing images of a strange cigar-shaped vehicle that was incredibly smooth with no lines, screws, or bolts. It wasn't your normal space stuff, so I knew that, he said. He also found a spreadsheet containing details of what he says are, quote, non-terrestrial officers, seemingly a reference to extraterrestrial entities that the U.S. government had knowledge of. It had ship names and fleet-to-fleet transfers, he said. Unfortunately, however, he was unable to save the files, and to this day, there's no evidence of them, save for his word.
Okay.
So skeptics may now enter the chat.
Right.
Then again, could such files soon be released, knowing that President Trump's recent order has made such documents soon to be public? We may not have long to find out. So it'll be interesting if those come out. And those are soon exposed. Our next story has to do with NASA offering a final verdict on the odds of an asteroid striking the moon in 2032. Again, I ask, is your property safe, Mallie?
Probably not, and I have no insurance.
Oh, you don't have asteroid
I
insurance?
don't have asteroid insurance. And if I did, they'd probably find a way to still not pay out.
I have a little song for you, Mallie. Liberty, 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 liberty.
Exactly.
Yep. Probably want to check into that.
Gotta call Jake.
Yeah, you got to call Jake at State Farm, see if that's available to you. Yeah. An asteroid that was once thought to be heading for the Earth was later found to be heading toward the moon instead. Back in 2025, concerns were raised when a fast-approaching space rock known as Asteroid 2024 YR4, it's got a catchy name, so don't forget it, was determined to have a 1 in 83 chance of colliding with the Earth in 2032. As the days and weeks went on, the odds of a collision seemed to keep increasing, and at one point were as high as 1 in 32. Still not enormous, but sufficient enough to raise eyebrows. Fortunately, though, once better observations of the object were made, the odds were ultimately revised down to the point of irrelevance at just a 0.001% chance of striking the Earth. So I think we can all breathe easy. That would seem to have been the end of it. But then a short while later, astronomers analyzing the asteroid determined that it had a not insignificant chance of colliding with the moon instead, because they needed something else to bet on DraftKings? I have no idea. The odds of such a collision stood at as much as 4.3%, but now, following renewed observations, NASA has finally confirmed that the chance of the asteroid hitting the moon are now essentially zero. So maybe you can hold off on that insurance.
Yeah, save myself some money.
Yeah. Based on the new data, asteroid 2024 YR4 will pass approximately 21,200 kilometers from the lunar surface. So we can all breathe a little easier, I guess. The saga is an example of how collision estimates can change as an object approaches and new data is collected. Of course, in some rare cases, there is a potential for the odds to go up as well as down. So note to self, don't get too worked up over colliding objects. I never get too worked up unless, it's right on top of us. But still, I never got too worked up. Our next story has to do with aliens and the fact that they may have been attempting to communicate with us for decades. That's with a question mark. There's an article here that suggests that a new study says that we may have been receiving signals from intelligent aliens, but simply didn't realize it. I might buy that, right?
It sounds like something a human would do.
Yeah. Astronomers have been listening out for potential extraterrestrial signals for a long time, but what what if we've been receiving them all along, but simply mistook them for something else? According to a new study, one of the flaws in the way that we listen out for alien messages is that astronomers tend to focus on sudden, inexplicable radio signal spikes. The trouble is, even if a narrow radio signal was transmitted by intelligent extraterrestrials far off in space, by the time it arrives here, it may no longer be narrow at all. Instead, it may have been distorted or smeared upon leaving its home star's atmosphere, resulting in a signal that doesn't resemble what astronomers might typically associate with an alien message. Searches are often optimized for extremely narrow signals, said study lead author and SETI Institute astronomer Dr. Vishal Gaijar. If a signal gets broadened by its own star's environment, it can slip below our detection thresholds, even if it's there, potentially helping explain some of the radio silence we've seen in technosignature searches. In other words, if we could adapt our listening techniques to account for this, we may find ourselves opening the door to a whole host of previously undetected alien signals. Perhaps it isn't that nobody is out there. We may simply be looking for the wrong thing.
Okay.
I maintain that if an alien's going to contact us, I don't think it necessarily would be with a radio signal. To me, that seems antiquated. Doesn't it seem antiquated to you?
Mm-hmm. Listen, all I know is that I could just see it saying, you know, like when we do with life, when we're like, just give us a sign, and then it'll give us a sign and we totally ignore it. You know what I mean? Because we're just, I don't know, just oblivious to the most obvious thing.
Yeah, I would, you know what, maybe light pulses or something more technological, I would think would be the answer.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, before something as antiquated as sound. Because sound doesn't travel that fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these things supposedly jump on a tic-tac ship and cross the galaxy or through portals or however they traverse the galaxy. And then we expect them to get on a Victrola or something and then crank up the sound
Right.
to communicate with us. I mean, that it doesn't seem right. I don't know. I don't know that I buy that. Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. I don't, call me crazy. I don't know.
No, they've probably presented themselves in a more obvious way to us, and we've just haven't noticed it or acknowledged it.
I think so. I think you're right. Our next story has to do with fresh calls for the release of the UK files on Rendlesham Forest's UFO incident. There are still many unreleased documents pertaining to the UK's most hotly debated and enduring UFO case. Often referred to as Britain's Roswell, the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident occurred on December of 1980 when multiple U.S. servicemen stationed at RAF Woodbridge in England witnessed a strange object over multiple nights. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt and his men had gone out to investigate when the unidentified object was spotted descending into the nearby woods. Our security team observed a light that looked like a large eye, red in color, moving through the trees, Halt recalled. After a few minutes, this object began dripping something that looked like molten metal. A short while later, it broke into several smaller, white-colored objects, which flew away in all directions. Exactly what the men had encountered that night has long remained a topic of debate. Now, filmmaker Mark Christopher Lee, the man behind a recent documentary on the subject, has renewed calls for the UK government to release any files it still has on the incident. His calls follow on from President Donald Trump's recent announcement that he would be ordering the release of any remaining classified UFO files in the United States. With the U.S. leading the way, the rest of the world must now follow, said Lee. Countries like France, Brazil, and others have already declassified files. The UK cannot lag behind. This is the moment to kickstart full transparency here and give witnesses a safe platform. I regularly receive reports from pilots, military personnel, and members of the public who have witnessed or experienced UFO phenomena, but they refuse to go public due to fear of ridicule, he went on to say. You know, if there's still plenty of documents missing from Rendlesham, why not? right? I mean, the case is what, 46 years old? I mean, who are you going to expose or put out there that wouldn't want the information out there?
True.
I can't think there's too many people out there that would say, no, don't put it out there. You're going to put my life in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Or my reputation, or, I can't think there's too many people out there that would, hold that up, All right. With that, we're going to take our break. When we come back, Mallie was checking out my cool new specs, right?
Yes.
Right. All right. My cool new glasses.
Nice.
If I were to tell you that I was thinking about doing some of those Meta Ray-Bans, you know what I'm talking about? The Ray-Bans.
For recording, right?
Yeah, with the little cameras in them and, the AI stuff where you could translate languages and all that stuff. I was looking at them for about a half a second. But then I found out something about them. You're not going to believe you're not going to believe what I found out.
Oh.
There's no way in hell I'd get them now.
Really?
Oh, we froze there for a second. Okay.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. If you thought that they're absolutely autonomous, that your information is safe with those, well, I got a bridge to sell you in New York.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you where your information is going. Every single bit of your information and just who is looking at your videos.
Okay.
Coming up in the AI segment. It will chill you. Yep. And
this is good to know.
And if you own a pair of those, you're going to want to get rid of them. Okay.
Because I actually thought about it possibly just so that I wouldn't have to, if I ever thought about maybe recording something out in public, so that I wouldn't have to hold like my camera and then the item.
Oh, but I'm telling you.
Now, I don't think I'll be doing that.
Maybe get one of the ones that you see on like TikTok where it records everything locally or to your phone, but it doesn't, maybe one of the knockoffs, but not the Ray-Bans, not the ones that Meta does.
Okay.
Because the agreement that you sign, you don't own anything. And a lot of people are going through your stuff. It's scary.
Okay.
If you thought some of your other stuff you signed with Meta was scary,
right?
We're gonna scare you in this next segment. It's gonna be interesting. Elsewhere, we've got some interesting paranormal stuff in the next segment as well. A woman goes to hell and comes back and tells us all about it. We got that coming up in the next segment. That's coming up as well. There's Bigfoot news. In some interesting Bigfoot news is that has to do with Cannock Chase. So supposedly Cannock Chase and Bigfoot is on the rise in Cannock Chase. So we've got that coming up as well. And for our palate cleanser today, we have a new ally in the war against AI. And it's not who you would think.
Okay.
Fight on, my brother. I'll tell you all about it when we come back. Again, stay away from those Meta Ray-Bans. We're going to go to hell and back. And we got some ghosty stories today. Got lots of ghosty stories today. We're going to take a look at Bigfoot today and much, much more. We got a new ally when it comes to fighting AI. Much, much more in our palate cleanser. It's all coming up next here on the best in paranormal podcasting, supernatural news, and Parashare with your buddies, Tim and Mallie, right here on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. That means it's supernatural news and Parashare with your buddies Tim and Mallie. I don't want to have to shock you. I know you just rip the Band-Aid off. You just go for it. It's not gonna make me happy to do this, but I'm telling you, bud, I gotta. There's the theme. Okay, but I gotta do it right away.
Yeah.
You know, I went glasses shopping recently.
Yeah.
I told you that I was gonna consider doing it. I was gonna look at these Ray-Bans from Meta, right?
Yeah.
Because I like the idea of being able to, especially like watching my nephew play hockey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought, you know, it's just easier than trying to hold up your phone and watch these guys skate back and forth and trying to zoom in and get the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with my nephew playing defenseman, I want to catch one of these rocket goals that he fires off. You know, rocket from the point. I figure it's just easier just to capture it while I'm watching it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I read this article, or one of many articles I've read over the last week. Meta's Ray-Ban smart glasses are a privacy nightmare, with footage of naked people, sensitive information, and violent acts captured and seen by Meta's AI and an army of employees. Everything you've ever recorded on these glasses has been seen by multiple people. Smart glasses are a trendy item that relies on cameras to feed AI models and to answer queries. However, while this is viewed as a fun feature by many and a way to film their life in a hands-free way, it's still a massive privacy issue if not used correctly. An investigation by Svenska Dagbladet, which sounds like I'm swearing in Russian, I swear, on February 27th, looked into the workings of the Meta Ray-Ban partnership and its AI glasses. It found that the footage is collected and seen by many eyes, including human trainers of AI. Anonymous sources from a company in Nairobi, Kenya, revealed that they have seen footage of people at their most private and vulnerable times when the users of Meta's smart glasses would rather not have their cameras rolling. Did you have a little naked time with your significant other?
Yeah.
Put it on the camera? Well, guess what? It wasn't so private. Sama is a Kenyan subtractor of Meta, supplying workers who can identify things in images and video to train Meta's AI. Thousands of people would draw boxes on screens, identifying items that are then fed into the AI system to improve its models. One man told the report he could see people going into the bathroom or removing clothes. However, he admits that he didn't know if the users were aware of being captured, and that they probably wouldn't want the footage to be seen elsewhere. Other employees also came forward to the report, detailing what they saw. One explained that they saw a man put the glasses on a bedside cabinet and leave the room, only for a woman to come in and change her clothes. The videos shown to the data annotators also go further, including credit card details and sexual acts.
Oh.
It's all going to Nairobi, Kenya. While some footage certainly could have been filmed on purpose by the user, it's thought that many instances were caught without the user or the video's subject being fully aware, all in sensitive situations that would be compromising if it were leaked. The use of humans to train AI using data isn't anything new to the industry. Companies rely on teams of workers to try and sort through data and to correct accuracy issues, often in countries where it's cheap to hire small armies of employees. However, Meta and others assure the public that their systems are private. At the very least, employees working on the supplied footage have to sign a non-disclosure agreement to work on it all. Indeed, the sensitive data that is seen by the employees isn't intended to train the AI models at all. As for people appearing in the videos, they are anonymization systems in place to cover faces, but this is not entirely reliable. So there's supposed to be something to screen faces, but it doesn't always work. One former Meta employee explained that faces are sometimes visible, with difficult lighting conditions sometimes to blame. As for what happens to the footage, Meta was asked about how long voice recordings and video clips were stored, among other privacy questions. It took 2 months for a response that only explained how data is transferred from the glasses to the mobile app and referred reporters to Meta's AI privacy policy. Unsurprisingly, this is far from the first time that reports have delved into the human side of AI. Previously, Apple had to deal with such a scandal. Back in 2019, you may remember that Apple received widespread criticism after it was discovered that audio recordings from Siri were sent to third-party contractors. Those contractors were working on improving the accuracy of Siri itself and only in audio. At the time, those recordings included private conversations between doctors and patients and drug deals, among other things. It's a headache that Apple had been dealing with for many years, including paying out millions of dollars in settlements as recently as 2025. So there's that. With Apple reportedly working on a wearable AI pin and AirPods with infrared cameras, as well as its own Apple Glass, it too may be itself dealing with similar complaints. That is, if it hasn't learned its lesson from Siri. At the very least, Apple is very insistent that it is handling such data sensitively. So now that you know, Mallie, that all of that is being shipped to Nairobi, Kenya, and being looked at by thousands of people, would you go out and get a pair of those Ray-Bans?
Probably not. Probably not.
There's no way in hell I would.
Yeah. Well, I had a hard enough time remembering that I was mic'd up to go when I went to the bathroom when I was filming.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let her know I'm wearing the glasses.
Yeah. I knew that whatever you were filming with them there was an intermediary, right? So it wasn't like it was going straight to your phone. Like with some of the cheaper knockoffs, that you get on TikTok. There's some that just go right to your phone, right? And it doesn't go to a cloud, or it doesn't go somewhere where it has to be, they don't sift through it. But even with the ones that go directly to your phone, I think there's, it goes to an app. And I think that the keepers of the app sift through your stuff.
Right.
There's always a catch.
Yeah. With anything.
Yeah.
That's just like when you're having a conversation and the next thing you know, you're getting ads on your phone.
Yeah.
And you're like, where the heck did this come from?
Yeah. And let's face it, I mean, information is money.
Yeah.
And eventually that information may be potentially used against you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it's just creepy. It's just creepy what companies and technology and what's all going to eventually be used against you. It's Big Brother come alive, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't had someone knock on my door with the conversations I've had.
Same here, actually. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in our little world, what we look up and what we talk about and stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm shocked too. It's funny because I'll give you a perfect example. And again, we're not a political show, but this past week, the Iranian women's soccer team, very good example. They refused to sing their national anthem in Australia.
Okay.
And couldn't go back to their country in fear of being executed because they were then labeled as I don't know what the proper term is, not outliers or outcasts, but essentially their government, the son of Khomeini now has taken over as the supreme leader. And they assumed they were free when they went to Australia before the son of Khomeini took over as supreme leader. So they assumed that, the original Khomeini or Khomeini Sr. was dead and that there'd be a new government and they were free. So they weren't going to sing the anthem. They felt like they had free choice.
Yes.
They made a mistake because now there's a new regime and it's the same as the old regime. I think that's a Who lyric, you know, meet the old boss, same as the new boss, right? And they, you know, if they went back to their country, they were paying with their lives. So it was President Trump that said to Australia, you need to give them asylum.
Mm-hmm.
And as of today, when we're taping, Australia decided to give them asylum.
Oh, good.
So essentially saving their lives.
Right.
And we don't think about, in our country, we don't think about really how much freedom we have.
Mm-hmm.
Where something as simple as we don't sing our national anthem, and that could cause us death.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
You know? That's a real circumstance. I think we don't realize how good we got it some days.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I digress.
Yes.
All right. Next story. Meanwhile, are you ready for this, Mallie?
Is this AI again?
It is AI again. And AI is fueling Satanism as exorcists warn bots can be used for devil worshipping. We'll just throw out a little warning here that there's some distressing content in this story.
Okay.
An annual online course run by a Mexican priest is schooling church men and women around the globe about the rise in grim AI-fueled Satanism. Satan?
Oh my God, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, it is. AI chatbots are feared to be fueling Satanism as exorcists warn that they can be used for devil worshipping. Boy, now I really do sound like the old man shaking his fist at the clouds, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Experts are lining up to teach an exorcism course in Rome, saying it's posing a huge threat to them as AI can be used for both good and evil. They say police are warning that Satanists are using AI to hide their content online and communicate with each other. Occult groups in Italy, thought to total 263, are using AI to generate the symbols they use in rites. Father Luis Ramirez Almanza, who is a Mexican priest who runs the annual training course, said artificial intelligence is a great power, a force for both good and evil, and can therefore be used for devil worshipping. The situation has gotten so bad, some priests have started to dedicate their careers to fighting Satanists who combine their devil worshipping with pedophilia. Father Fortunato Di Noto said, "We believe these groups are using AI to generate images of children involved in satanic rites. Rapidly advancing deepfake tools are enabling online pedophiles to create untold amounts of child sexual abuse material, some of which is allegedly used for satanic purposes." David Murgia, who runs Catholic Risk and Insurance Services, or CRIS, a research group that tracks cults. Police tell us Satanists are using AI to hide their content online and communicate with each other, is what he said. Artificial intelligence has often been likened to the devil itself, including Elon Musk, despite the ex-owner utilizing AI bot Grok on the social media platform. And church bigwigs have long warned of the risks of AI. The Pope has warned that AI risks robbing people of their privacy and their jobs. Leo XIV cast aspersions on extremely rich people who are investing in artificial intelligence, totally ignoring the value of human beings and of humanity. That could lead to AI rewriting human history, including the history of the church, he warned. The anti-AI Satanism course in Rome, run by Father Luis Ramirez Almanza, draws up to 170 participants from all religious backgrounds, including Catholic exorcists, imams, rabbis, and evangelical preachers. So he gets all faiths, which is interesting. So there's that story.
Mm-hmm. Would you ever take an exorcism course if it was offered?
I would consider it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd help where I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah, I think I would. It's, it's having known a few of them, it's
Right.
it's a tough field to get into. And if you truly realize how much it takes out of a person, it's a tough choice.
Right. Exactly. Because you're opening up a whole can of worms. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, do you want to get into that whole different lifestyle? I mean, it's like once you enter, it's like you can't leave. You know what I mean? It's like once you open that door,
Right.
there's no turning back.
Yeah. Once you enter into service, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in service for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you have to consider the rewards too, that you're saving people's souls. So,
Yeah.
and if that's worth it to you and that's rewarding to you, then by all means.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to keep that in mind, that's the objective of the work, is to help people. So, and that you're never the instrument, and that God works through you. So,
Right. But then aren't you then letting the demons or basically the demons know that you're making yourself then known to the demons that you're sorry, I'm at a loss for words today.
that's okay.
It's like now you're exposing yourself to them. Like now they're like, oh, he's one of them. You know what I mean? Like you're opening yourself up to that.
Well, I'll counter with a counterpoint. Don't you think that you were known before to those demons? That your light shone brightly to them before?
Yeah.
And if it's truly a calling, that you've always had it, I truly believe that those who enter into that calling have always had that ability, or always they've always had that voice in their ear or in the back of their head that's told them, you need to come to this calling and help. You need to be of service to God. So they've come forward and they've answered that call. And in that, they've had some sort of run-ins with evil in the past. So I think that these demons have always known, and they've tried to make themselves known to whoever the person who's being called. So I don't think it's ever been their first run-in with evil.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we're talking hypotheticals.
Right.
So yeah, I think their light has always been bright. I think if you want to call it a porch light, the porch light's always been on, like the old Motel 6 ad says, or Red Roof or whatever it is. We'll leave a light on for you. The light's always been on. And yeah, I think yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking of it, like once you get into, I know we're getting off topic, but like once you start getting into like the paranormal, you start investigating and stuff, and then all of a sudden you start noticing that you are, because you're putting yourself in that atmosphere, you do start noticing that you do have more paranormal experiences. You do have more experiences with ghostly things. You know what I mean? Like the longer you're in this environment, you do have more exposure to stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like as time goes on, I have more ghost experiences happen,
Yeah.
than a normal person would. Like I could be in a house and one person's here, nothing happens, and then I come and then I've got all these things that happen. You know what I mean? As time goes on, because I'm in this thing, and it's almost like as you said, like a light comes on, like a beacon. It's like, oh, this person has experience, or I don't know what I'm talking about. But.
No, you but that makes complete sense, right? I mean, if you think of it this way, right?
So I'm just thinking like demonology, Well,
I'm trying to think of a good analogy that would fit, but I can't think of one that would fit perfectly for this.
I just don't want demons coming out of the woodwork if you're starting to get into, what I mean?
No.
If you're getting into exorcisms and stuff, all of a sudden,
Well, okay, this may seem
they
like
start appearing to you more so than
this may seem like
usual.
a weird analogy, right? But the only thing I can make the analogy of is the chipmunks, right? So the chipmunks outside, right?
Demons and chipmunks.
Demons and chipmunks, but wildlife in general, right? So
Yeah.
like it seems like every time I step outside now, I've got different types of wildlife coming up to me.
True. You are Snow White in the
I'm Snow
man
White,
version.
right? In the man version. But that didn't start happening until I started relating to the chipmunks. And I started, so it started with one chipmunk and having a rapport with one chipmunk. Now all of a sudden it's birds and it's rabbits and it's all these other wildlife that come up to me and they're like, oh, hey, you're a friendly guy. Why don't you feed me? Right?
Yeah.
Well, all these different animals come up to me now based on one little chipmunk that I had a rapport with. So I don't know if they all talk to each other. I don't know. It's not, I don't know. But based on that one rapport with that one chipmunk with Spuddy, I mean, now it's the doors, the floodgates, whatever you want to call it, are wide open, right? That's the only thing I can. Right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Just the whole thing with exorcisms, it just makes me a little bit unsettled, I guess.
From talking to we had John on the program recently.
Yeah.
And I think the burden is never too big, right? Because as you get experience, like with anything, like with a job, right? At first the job's a little overwhelming because you get hit with the fire hose. You get everything at once. But if you have people there who know what they're doing and are trained and are right by your side and are there to answer questions and walk you through the process, you're able to take things on eventually on your own, and they walk you through it until you get your experience, and then things become commonplace, right? And then you get the training wheels off, you're walking on your own, then you're running, and then it's all old hat after a while. But it takes reps, So I think it's pretty much like anything.
Yeah.
You just need experience.
Yeah. It's like I can deal with ghosts, but just thoughts of demons and stuff, just, I don't know. I have a hard time with that. But maybe it's because it's religious. I don't know. Anyway.
It's a different level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different level. But again, it's different strokes for different folks, I guess. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, let's delve into this story. I was going to save it for a couple stories down, but let's jump into it right away. And that's this. That's if I can get past this ad that popped up here. Let's
make their money.
I know they do, don't they? The headline here is, I spent 18 days in a coma fighting demons in hell. Then something incredible happened. A woman has told of her near-death experience in hell while doctors fought to save her from a life-threatening condition, and reveals that singing a Christmas carol freed her from the demons. It's that simple, Mal. Just sing a Christmas carol, then you'll get rid of it.
There we go. So Jingle Bells will get me out of there.
That's right. Yeah. Jingle bells. Yes, that's what it is. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. They actually laugh their asses off and then they leave. A woman who underwent a terrifying near-death experience after being placed in a medically induced coma for over a fortnight has told of being tormented by demons in hell before being allowed to meet with a lost love in heaven. Kathy McDaniel was working as a headhunter based in Seattle when, at 53, she developed acute respiratory distress syndrome, or ARDS, a life-threatening rapid onset lung condition that causes severe inflammation and fluid buildup. Doctors took the decision to place Kathy in a coma using strong sedatives and amnesic drugs, which should have suppressed her memory while slowing her metabolism almost to a standstill. But far from being completely unconscious for those 18 days, as the medics had expected, Kathy underwent a strange experience that she believes gave her an insight into what happens to us after we die. I was suddenly hurried into a vast void, and then I found myself in a very hellish place, Kathy recalled. It was frightening, foggy, smelly, hot. It was a men's locker room, evidently. I never felt dead, she said. It was just always me, and I went through this really awful, long experience. At first, Kathy says she found herself in complete darkness. Then a voice roared at her saying, "Do you know where you are?" Kathy, who's now 79 years old, says, "I was terrified and utterly confused. I was clamping my shaking hands over my ears as my mind raced for a rational explanation. All I could see was total darkness. I knew I was in the wrong place. Finally, I whispered, 'Hell.'" That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy described the apocalyptic landscape she found herself in. It looked like New York or some big city, and there were fires and screaming and people running. It didn't feel like a dream, but somewhere real. For what felt like months in her time, she was menaced by terrifying demons. During the days that followed, these demons were always encouraging me to despair. Kathy says she was tormented by these beings, including a robed demon resembling a judge who told her she would be freed if she cleared a field of blackberry canes with a pair of round-tipped scissors, only for the branches to continuously grow back. Okay, she wasn't in hell.
Where do you think she was?
Purgatory. She was in a state between living and dead. My grandfather described this to me.
Really?
Yep. My grandpa will ask her. I'll explain after I read the rest of the story.
Okay.
Only for the branches, again, to continuously grow back when she's trying to cut them with the round-tip scissors. Despite her plight, she had an innate sense that she would eventually be released. She said, "I would chant with a trembling voice, 'I will not despair. I will get out of here. I will not despair.' I was a fighter and said, 'There's something wrong about this. I don't belong here,' so I kept fighting." After what felt like long months, Kathy said she was ordered by a demonic female to join her as she led a group of women wearing rags into a freezing landscape. Despite the miserable surroundings, Kathy says the endless snow made her think of Christmas, and she began singing a carol. While the female demon ordered her to stop singing, she carried on. And then something remarkable happened. Unexpectedly, I felt my entire being flooded with an immense love, peace, and joy, Kathy says. I was blasted into heaven. Suddenly, Kathy found herself in a very different environment, which she describes as a cathedral-like marble room surrounded by an otherworldly garden and filled with a misty, warm, white light. Then, to her amazement, she saw a familiar face, her former fiancé, Rick, who had died at 53 shortly before Kathy was hospitalized. He appeared much younger, around 35 years old, she said. Kathy had a telepathic conversation with her lost love before he told her that it wasn't her time yet, and she had too much left to do. Moments later, she suddenly woke up in her hospital bed and learned that she had been comatose for 18 days. Kathy accepts that some people won't believe her, blaming the strong anesthetic she was given. She said, "Most people didn't want to hear my story. They were upset or dismissive. And others said it was too depressing or strange. Others asked why I had ended up in hell, and some insisted it was just the drugs." She has gone on to share her tale in a memoir called Misfit in Hell to Heaven Expat. Misfit in Hell to Heaven Expat is what it's called. It's kind of an odd title. Kathy said, "After a trip to hell and heaven, I have learned acceptance regarding unusual happenings and believe there are no coincidences, only events not fully understood." Kathy currently works with other people who have experienced near-death experiences and has renewed faith in a higher power as a result of her own no longer fearing death, she added. She also added, the three most important words in the English language are God, love, and home. They are all the same thing. Okay, so let me explain to you why initially it might have been purgatory, and then she might have made the trip to hell, but then ascended to heaven. She was in multiple places, but she was initially in purgatory.
Mm-hmm. Did she mention the name of the song? Did I miss it?
No, she didn't mention the name.
Okay.
No. So I think I probably told the story before on the show. My grandpa is having open heart surgery. He was having a bypass. And when he comes to, they stop your heart during a bypass, And I asked him, did you see anything? Because I was curious. And he was very open about, whether he would see something or not. Because I was thinking maybe he would see my grandmother, or maybe he would, and he would tell us, He said, I don't know what I saw. And he was spooked. He was genuinely spooked. I said, well, what happened? He said, I went to this place. I said, well, where's the place, Grandpa? He goes, I don't know. But he said, I had a job. He said, actually, I had 2 jobs. I said, well, what were the jobs? He said, I was in a field. And on one side of the field, I had rabbits as far as I could see. And I had to feed the rabbits. And then they gave me a bucket and a shovel. And I had to clean up all the rabbit poop. I didn't use the words he used. He said I had to clean up all the rabbit shit. And as fast as they shit, I had to clean it up. And I had to keep feeding them because they kept getting hungry. And it was a never-ending cycle. I said, where were you? He said, I know exactly where I was. I was in purgatory. And he said, they stopped my heart. I wasn't alive, but I wasn't dead.
Oh.
I was in that space. Now, keep in mind, he was extremely Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So in his belief system, he was in that waiting room.
Right.
Between going to heaven and staying with us.
Well, why can't your waiting room be nice? Why does it have to be?
Well, because you have to, well, in his mind, that wasn't necessarily icky. He was having to perform a task. He was having to do the Lord's work. And in that, he was taking care of the Lord's creatures.
Yeah, but the lady had a really bad experience.
Right, but in that she was performing what seemed like an impossible task. She's trying to cut something with round tip scissors. A never-ending task. In other words, she's waiting. But to her, she was describing to her what looked like demons. But maybe they weren't. Maybe they were just odd-looking things.
Okay.
Right? But she eventually goes purgatory to hell, up to heaven. Right? So I think at that point, she's doing this. She's traveling because she is in such a deep coma for 18 days that her spirit is wandering. It truly doesn't know whether it wants to leave the body or stay. So she is kind of exploring realms. She isn't tethered to her body as much as, say, someone who is having a surgery, like a bypass, where you are more tethered to your body and you're not going to go anywhere. That cord is still really strong. I think she was on the verge of potentially leaving. But then, like her ex-boyfriend said, or her ex-fiance, it's not your time. And then she was sent back. I'm curious as to whether she developed any type of abilities when she came back.
Yeah.
Doesn't say that. But if she was able to go between realms like that, she's got to have some sort of abilities.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next story has to do with a New York City restaurant that apparently was haunted by over 20 ghosts. The perfect spot to grab something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Dining in New York City is very competitive. Reservations can be so hard to come by that people are literally dying to get in. So when one does go so far as to, say, shuffle off this mortal coil for a table, you can't blame them for staying a while, or even for an eternity, such as the case at Manhattan's One If by Land, Two If by Sea. The romantic West Village restaurant is said to be haunted by 20 specters, making for one large party indeed. It's a competitive dining room for those ghosts, too. One If by Land, Two If by Sea is not merely populated by your everyday vanishing hitchhiker or your disrespectful poltergeist. Even in the dang afterlife, you've got to be somebody, or have been rather, for these elite seats. The nation's third vice president, non-convicted murderer, and Lin-Manuel Miranda muse Aaron Burr is said to be among the spooks, for example. That's kind of a nice guest list.
Mm-hmm. Fancy.
The address was his house before it was ever a restaurant. And this kind of prime real estate is hard to come by. So Burr, or whatever energy left of him, has, well, dual reasons to linger. Oh, fine, they can't all be bold names, but not everyone at Minetta Tavern is Taylor Swift either. Trust it's a personal favorite of this person who wrote the article as far as romantic New York City restaurants go. And who could even tell whether it was known Alexander Hamilton foe or some tragic anonymous aspiring actress bringing a chill to the air or extinguishing a candlestick's flames. 20 is a good number of speculated spirits as any. Plenty of places don't even get one spirit to begin with. Oh boy, that looks kind of good. I just caught
They had a picture of their menu?
They have a picture of one of their dishes.
Ooh.
And then below it, they have a fillet of fish from McDonald's. So I don't know which one to believe. So whether you believe in ghosts or not, one if by land, two if by sea, sure looks like the kind of place you'd see a vaguely Victorian lady in flowing gowns. Or did you? It's lined in a lot of exposed brick with big arched windows, hanging candelabras, and a dramatic staircase that may have created at least one of the ghouls that stalks the place. If you catch the drift better than anyone could catch the gal who supposedly tumbled down to her death, the bathrooms are down some stairs too, so, be careful while you're there. In spite or perhaps because of all the apparitions, one if by land, two if by sea is also rather beautiful and great for special occasions and celebrations. That is, if the prices don't kill you. A decadent 10-course black truffle tasting menu with wine pairing. Are you ready for this, Mallie? Runs $375 before tax and tip.
Ooh. And that's just for one person?
That's nothing. I hope that's for two people. Maybe that is per person.
Well, I mean, it's New York City, so
that probably is per person. Yeah. The regular 3-course menu that includes plates like seared foie gras, duck confit, and creme brulee or is it confit? It may be confit, not confit, but confit. And creme brulee will set you back $165 before the wine. Mm-hmm. That's, you know what? That's actually not bad.
That's not too bad.
No. And a la carte items are available at the also Pretty Bar for $18 to $125.
Okay.
All right. Even the latter still isn't cheap, but you only live once. Actually, that's not too bad.
Right. For being New York.
Yeah, for being New York City, that's not too bad. See, this is the I'll show you here, Mel, on video. Yeah,
that doesn't look bad at all.
No, that looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at that, and then the ad is gone. So I look at that, and then I scroll down, and all of a sudden I got a picture of a fillet of fish.
Is that beef Wellington? Isn't beef Wellington where it's wrapped up in puff pastry?
Yes, that's beef Wellington right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's got a nice kind of red center to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks really good. I was like, ooh.
And then to have it in Aaron Burr's house, too.
Yeah.
That must be really pretty inside.
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's a picture here of...
Okay. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Look at that.
I always like it when restaurants are in old houses.
Yeah.
Ooh, your camera just zoomed in on your forehead.
This is what the globe looks like inside Aaron Burr's house. You can almost see the world.
Yeah. I just see your brain working.
Yep. Oh boy, is it smoking? It's worked overtime today.
It's like that cartoon where it shows the inside of your brain.
You just see the little hamster running.
Yep.
Yeah. Our next story has to do with a real-life couple, Hollywood couple, that is playing parents to their real-life kids in a first look at a meta-horror comedy called Family Movie. Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick are our couple that we're talking about. boy, they're what, about like 103 now? No, I'm kidding.
Probably. Watch, you're related to him. The 7 degrees of Kevin
Oops,
Bacon.
sorry. No, what are they? They've got to be in their 60s now, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say there are no spring chickens anymore. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I mean.
Well, because he was probably in his 20s with Footloose, and that was early 80s?
Mid 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. The Bacons are keeping it all in the family. Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick have worked with their kids, Smile star Sosie and musician-composer Travis, in various capacities over the years, but their latest joint project, fittingly titled Family Movie, marks the first time all four are leading a film as the core cast. I don't think that we're necessarily looking for something to do together, Sedgwick told Entertainment Weekly on a Zoom call with her husband and kids. In fact, when she and Kevin approached them about making a movie, she was surprised by their enthusiasm. We pitched it to the kids thinking that they probably wouldn't be into it, she says. I was so nervous. And they actually said yes. I was like, wait, what? You want to work with your parents? It was pretty monumental, she went on to say. Premiering March 13th at the SXSW Film and TV Festival, the comedy horror flick is written by The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, associate producer. Dan Beers follows a family of four in the movie biz, though they're not quite as successful as their real-life counterparts. Jack Smith, played by Kevin, is a washed-up indie filmmaker in the horror scene, and Ellen, played by Kira, is his supportive wife and longtime leading lady. Their daughter, I believe it's Ula, who's played by Sosie, is also an actor who, unbeknownst to her dad, plans to exit his latest slasher in favor of a role that she's landed on a TV series. Her brother Trent, who's played by Travis, is a musician and boom operator with dreams of becoming an MMA fighter. That's a heck of a plot right there.
Yeah.
Despite some major financial concerns, the family comes together to help Jack make what might have been his last movie, but the production goes off the rails when they learn that Ellen has more in common with the psycho killers from their films than anyone realized. While the real-life production was free of similar life-altering revelations, Sosie admits that she was still hesitant to work with her parents on their latest project. Oh, I had reservations for sure, she admits with a laugh. I think we all were concerned that things would come up. We would get into arguments, little tensions and stuff would arise. In this situation, because we're on set, tensions are already really high. Instead, she says, it ended up being the opposite. Like, we had no tension. We were all so collaborative, and I don't think any of us expected that going into it, how easy it was and how nice everybody was to each other. Well, that's nice that they could all get together and be nice to each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I bet you it's not that way at home. Not that we were normally not nice to each other, she quickly clarifies. She said, but how down to try different things, down to collaborate, interested in hearing each other's thoughts, even down to our performances. It was just the best, most pleasant, exciting, and kind of connected experience that we could have had. Travis, too, initially felt some trepidation, especially as the least experienced actor of the clan, but he says it felt extremely collaborative and like everybody's voices were heard. He said it was magical. Sosie praises her brother, whose acting experience has mostly been limited to shorts, for his willingness to accept notes, and there were plenty. The amount of collaboration that he was willing to accept, I would say I probably wouldn't have been able to accept it, she says, laughing. Even if it was just starting out, I'd be like, all right, everybody has notes. But Travis was like, okay, thanks for saying that. As professional as everyone tried to keep it, there were still some moments where it became abundantly clear it was mom and dad in the director's seat. There was a scene they were directing where I was boxing and, the scene was supposed to start. And dad said, all right, you can go, Travis. Travis recalls. And I watched the dailies back and I heard myself under my breath say, usually a director calls for action. God, back talking to your dad when you're supposed to be on camera. While the Bacons are quick to note that they're not their characters, some similarities did sneak in. As he was writing the script, Beers held Zoom calls with each of them to better understand their personalities. There was always the understanding that this was not going to be us. We're not a family that makes horror movies, Kevin says. I mean, in this case we are, but, we're different, and there's a lot of differences to us. But when we first read the script, at least me, I don't know about you guys, I was like, holy shit, they really sound like whoever, So he really, in beautiful and subtle little ways, kind of nailed that. That's kind of nice. For example, he said, like the Smith family, Kevin says, we definitely have all snuck cigarettes from each other. Oh, great. A family that smokes together stays together, I guess. And for some reason, kept a secret that we're smoking a cigarette when everybody else is doing it. That's something that Dan intuited. We never told him that, he says. As for whether we can expect more Bacon family movies in the future, Kevin says, we would do it again in a heartbeat. So there may be more Bacon family movies in the future.
Mm-hmm. Now, I might be getting him mixed up with another actor, but I thought he was the one that was being interviewed. And when he bought the property that his house is on, one of the deals was that I guess there was a beautiful house on that property and he had to tear it down because the owner wouldn't sell it unless he tore it down. I think the owner thought it was haunted or there was something bad with the house. So Kevin had to tear it down in order to purchase the property.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it was Kevin Bacon, though, that had to do that. And he was really bummed because he really liked the house.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Our next story has to do with the most haunted village in Britain where 15 ghosts roam and screams are heard in the dark. It's known as Windsor Castle. No, I didn't. Kidding. No. It's a horrible royal joke. Nestled in the Kent countryside, it looks like a typical quaint English village, but it's said to be home to 15 ghosts who reportedly haunt these spooky spots around the village. During daylight hours, Pluckley in Kent appears to be your typical charming English village. However, don't let its delightful appearance deceive you, as once darkness falls, the village transforms into an extremely eerie location. If ghosts make you nervous, this might not be your ideal destination for Halloween. Tucked away in the Kent countryside, the village is home to just 1,000 residents living in a mixture of charming cottages and scenic country properties. Yet alongside the living inhabitants, the village is believed to house 15 ghosts. Among its numerous haunted locations is the Screaming Woods, which has drawn many courageous visitors recently, with people camping beneath the tree canopy. Multiple reports have emerged of the sound of screaming men and women once night arrives. Oh, that has to be pleasant.
Yeah, it's a little bit eerie.
A little bit. These are believed to be the cries of those who perished after becoming lost in the woods. Additionally, witnesses claim to have seen everything from spectral horse-drawn coaches to hanging corpses. Oh, how fun. In the haunted cemetery, people report hearing agonized screams from a dying man and a mourning mother. These are some of the hauntings that are reported from the area. I'll just breeze over a few of them for you. The Highwayman Hauntings. The aptly named Fright Corner is a road in Pluckley where the apparition of a highwayman is frequently observed. He's thought to be the spirit of a highwayman who met his death in the 18th century. Legend has it that he clashed with the village peacekeepers, who reportedly pinned him to an oak tree with a sword. How fun. Ghost enthusiasts claim the sword fight replays itself, always ending the same way. So it could be a residual haunting.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like it.
Number 2, don't go into the woods. While the woods might appear to be an ideal spot for a walk, Dicky Bus's Lane should be given a wide berth, according to accounts. There have been sightings of a corpse of a teacher who hanged himself. Rumors suggest that he ended his life following World War I, with his body discovered by the Miller Dickey several weeks afterwards. Number 3, screams of agony. To this day, witnesses claim to hear the bone-chilling screams of agony from the Brickworks site. This is where an unfortunate brickworker met a gruesome death when crushed by a wall of clay. I think I remember hearing that story. Yeah. Number 4, haunted horses. The eerie sound of horse hooves is regularly heard by residents in Pluckley. Villagers have also reported spotting a horse-drawn carriage on Maltman's Hill. One babysitter once described seeing the coach with light streaming from its windows, drawn by horses. In 1997, a motorist nearly crashed after hearing the clip-clop of hooves on cobbles while driving on a tarmac road. Number 5, Red Lady in a Graveyard. A cemetery is unsettling at the best of times, but Pluckleys will make your blood run cold. The Red Lady is believed to haunt the graveyard of St. Nicholas, the local church. Lady Daring was laid to rest there during the 1100s, entombed in a lead coffin adorned with a single red rose. Local residents have reported sightings of her spirit drifting through the graveyard, desperately searching for her stillborn child's final resting place. Imagine a ghost from the 1100s that's still out there looking for her child. We just don't have that here in America.
No, we don't.
Number 6, a gypsy ghost. The charming Pinnock Bridge offers visitors a peaceful spot to admire the breathtaking landscape. However, you may find yourself sharing the space with a spectral gypsy woman. Legend tells of how she earned her keep by selling watercress gathered from the stream below. The gypsy's apparition has been witnessed perched on the bridge, puffing on a pipe at the very location where she tragically perished in an accidental fire. Give you $5 if you can get tobacco off of her. And our final story has to do with pub ghouls. Again, a great band name. The atmospheric blacksmith's Arms is reportedly home to 3 spine-chilling spirits. Among the supernatural visitors are a Tudor maid, a coachman, and a cavalier of all the ghosts there. So there's a few more at that. I tell you what, I'll post the article so you can read all about the different ghosts that are there in that village in Britain. They're pretty entertaining. Mm-hmm. Our next story has to do with an Arizona child that was declared dead after drowning. That child is now expected to survive, according to police. It's kind of an unusual story. A child was found unresponsive in a Phoenix suburb pool and initially declared dead, and now shows signs of life hours later after that, Mal. We go to Gilbert, Arizona, where a child who was declared dead after being found in a backyard pool in a Phoenix suburb in early February is now expected to survive, according to local law enforcement. Police and fire officials responded to a reported drowning call near East Chandler Heights and South Higley Roads in Gilbert, Arizona on February 8th after a child was found in a backyard pool. Upon arrival, Gilbert officials provided life-saving measures before the child was taken to a local hospital. Additional life-saving measures were administered by medical staff at the hospital. However, the child was declared dead at 6:20 p.m. local time. Police said that later that evening, just before 11:30 p.m., officials were notified that the child showed signs of life and was airlifted to another Valley hospital for further treatment. The child is now expected to survive.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Child's name and age, by the way, were not released. So, yes, Virginia, there are little miracles out there. So there you go. All right. I told you that there was a big... Oh, wait. Okay. Before we get to the Bigfoot story here, I do have a little bit of a disturbing story for you. I'm going to hit you with here, Mal. Before we get to Bigfoot, you know, we've talked about disturbing funeral rites and different ways to dispose of bodies.
Yes.
I'm going to use a phrase with you here. You tell me yay or nay.
Okay.
Boil in a bag.
No, God. Nay.
It's coming to Britain.
Oh, God.
Scotland's the first part of the UK to introduce alternative techniques that seek bodies to be dissolved and flushed down the drain.
Oh, that's so gross.
Mm-hmm. Let me just hit it briefly for you here. Scotland has become the first in the UK to introduce boil-in-a-bag funerals, in the biggest change to Britain's burial rules since cremation was introduced in 1885. This alternative technique is known as alkaline hydrolysis. It sees bodies dissolved into a sterile liquid and then washed down the drains. Yummy.
I think that's how one of those serial killers got caught in England, like in the 50s or 60s. because he was dissolving the bodies like in some type of acid, and I think one of the pipes got clogged or something like that. And that's how we got caught.
Yeah. Advocates say these water cremations are an eco-friendly alternative to traditional cremation, which uses large amounts of natural gas. During a boil-in-the-bag funeral, the body is wrapped in a biodegradable shroud, often made of silk or wool, and placed in a pressurized steel chamber. The tank is then filled with liquid made up of 95% water and 5% of an alkaline chemical known as potassium hydroxide. There we go. The body is heated up to 150 degrees Celsius or 302 degrees Fahrenheit under pressure, which ensures that it does not actually boil. Oh,
I can't even boil chicken because it's so gross. Because you get that ring around the pot.
So not
when you boil chicken, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. So not only do you drown, but you boil. Oh.
No. Who came up with this idea?
Oh, some sick, pardon my language, but some sick fuck came up with this idea. Over 3 to 4 hours, this replicates the natural processes of decomposition that would normally take decades to occur inside a coffin. Finally, the resulting liquid is cooled, treated, and poured into drains where it is processed alongside normal wastewater.
So you become a people soup.
Yes, you become soup. Yeah, people soup. There you go. That's the latest craze in England, evidently. Boil in a bag. I hope they don't confuse it with their tea. That's my big deal. Cup of tea or cup of grandma, one or the other.
Ew.
Yeah. So, yay. All right, let's go on to our next story because I can't dwell on that any longer.
That's just gross.
Yeah, it is. Bigfoot is back as sightings rocket and paranormal hunters warn something big is coming. We're going to Cannock Chase in England, where Bigfoot is back, and he's brought a host of suspected ghouls and demons with him, evidently. Paranormal experts fear something really big will hit in the coming months after it emerged. There have been more ghostly sightings in the last 8 weeks compared to the whole of 2025 in one of Britain's spookiest spots. The area of Cannock Chase has come under the spotlight again after a flurry of gruesome glimpses of horror creatures were reported. Ghost boffins say there have been a flurry of activity in the West Midland woods and say they fear this is just the start of things. In 2025, there are around 30 sightings of something resembling Bigfoot, but since the start of the year, experts have already received more than 35 reports in Cannock Chase, which is interesting. So they say that reports are going up of Bigfoot and other sightings as well.
Okay.
They say our team of paranormal experts are doing our best to try and get evidence of all of this, but the weather is not making it easy. The rain is washing away all evidence, but Bigfoot is not thought to be stupid. It probably knows it's safer to venture out more in terrible weather. He's also wearing his galoshes. So, yeah. So there you go. So that's the latest from Cannock Chase. We're running a little short on time here, so I'm going to cut down to our final story and then our palate cleanser here, Mal. So our final story today. How do you do with creepy crawly things?
I'm okay.
You're
I
okay
went to
with
camp every year.
Okay.
Shipped off to summer camp.
Okay. All right. Well, a worker in Florida recalls seeing a gigantic 10-inch scorpion or scorpions in Florida.
Okay.
Not exactly where you would think you would see scorpions. But get a load of the size of this one. I've seen tiny ones in Arizona.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
That looks like a crab.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a scorpion. That looks like a crab. But if that thing stung you, I would think you'd be down for the count.
Yeah.
Cryptozoologist Dr. Carl, I think it's Shucker. It looks like Shucker, but it could be Shuker. Recently received an intriguing email from a man who has a fascinating story to tell. Tales of gargantuan scorpions, both in the U.S. and elsewhere, have been doing the rounds for years, with some stories detailing arachnids measuring as much as a foot or more in length. In a recent blog entry, Dr. Carl Schuker, a zoologist and science writer with a keen interest in the field of cryptozoology, reports on a detailed correspondence he recently received from a Florida man who claims to have encountered giant scorpions back in the 1980s. The man had been working as a hazardous waste specialist at the time. Oh, of course, it's a nuclear scorpion. And had seen scorpions on a regular basis, and particularly while inspecting waste around the Highlands Leather Factory in Sebring. On one particular occasion, however, he recalled seeing a particularly huge specimen, almost a foot in length, quickly scurrying across the floor and out of sight. Even the largest known species of scorpion in the U.S., the giant desert hairy scorpion, grows up to around 14 centimeters in length, or approximately half the size of this one. Believing his eyes to be playing tricks on him, the man mentioned the sighting to the factory's owner, who promptly took him into the back room to show him something he'd previously caught in a big jar. Incredibly, it turned out to be a scorpion around 10 inches in length, an absolute monster. Even the largest known scorpion in the world, the giant forest scorpion, is smaller than that. The factory where this occurred received hides from countries all over the world, so it's possible that these scorpions had hitched a ride from somewhere else. Their huge size, however, certainly raises some interesting questions. Could there be a population of giant exotic scorpions hiding out in North America? That we may never know. And I don't think I want to know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think I really want to know. All right.
This is a case where ignorance is bliss.
Yes. And I want to be as ignorant as possible because I you know, when we were doing the show from Tombstone, they kept telling me, okay, check your shoes every morning, dump your shoes out, shake them out really well, because you don't want to step into a shoe that has a scorpion in it. It hurts more than you could ever imagine, especially if they sting you. And I'm like, I don't ever want to experience that. They're like, oh yeah, it just stings a little bit, but everybody does it. They eventually get stung by a scorpion. I'm like, I'm not getting stung by a scorpion.
Right.
They're like, well, the worst that can happen is, you get real sick or you might die. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that in mind, let's go to our palate cleanser, shall we?
Yes.
We'll do that. We have a new ally.
Ooh.
We have a new fighter in the war against AI and all things bad when it comes to that monster taking over our civilization.
Okay.
And he's a furry friend.
Okay.
It happened in Ohio, Mallie, this past week.
Uh-huh.
Let me show you a picture of him. Oh, as I go to show you a picture of him, an ad pops up. They're like, no, see, AI is trying to keep us from seeing him. Let me get rid of the ad. Here we go. All right, I'll show you a picture of him. Here he is, right here. There's our little guy right there.
Aw.
See?
Little squirrel.
Little squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
Little squirrelo. There he is right there. We go to an Ohio county where a network outage that caused several government offices to lose phone and internet services is now being blamed on a meddlesome squirrel. They say meddlesome squirrel. I say genius. There's no off position on the genius switch in that squirrel. He knew exactly what he was doing. Medina County officials say that the February 20th outage that knocked out phone and internet services at government facilities, including the county prosecutor's office, was initially thought to be caused by contractors accidentally slicing through underground fiber. It might have been that the squirrel had warrants or had child support to pay. And the squirrel was just trying to get out of those tickets. County Administrator Matt Springer revealed at last week's commissioners meeting that the true cause has now been found to be a squirrel that built a nest inside the fiber infrastructure and chewed through multiple lines. Springer said at the meeting, it's hard to make this stuff up. Well, you're not making it up. He's an ally. He said steps are being taken with internet providers and the local fiber network to prevent similar incidents in the future. It says here that squirrels are known menaces to utility companies, having been blamed for numerous power outages across the U.S. over the years. You say known menaces. I say known military infiltrators. And they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Actually, if you ever want to see the worst sight ever, I've gone to many a radio tower to help out an engineer. Mm-hmm. Those poor little guys get hung up in the transmitter room. Yeah.
Yeah.
They fry quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a quick death. Poor little squirrels. Yeah. We salute them.
R.I.P. squirrels.
R.I.P. squirrels. All right, with that, what you got going on in your world, Mel?
Just keeping busy. Enjoying the weather. It's finally nice out.
For you?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God. Not for you.
The worm
which
is
means
turned.
It's not going to be for me in like a day or two.
Yeah, the worm is turned here.
Ah.
It's gonna get cooler in your area. Did I tell you that? I'm sorry. By the way, I hate to use the S word on you.
Is it the March Madness snow?
Yeah. Tonight and into tomorrow night, we're supposed to get a couple of inches. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin it for you. But yeah, we
damn it.
Yeah. We got trouble right here in River City, and it starts with snow.
Oh.
I'm sorry, darling.
Fudge.
Yeah.
What do you have going on?
Wow, you changed that up quick.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to disappoint you. I just
That's okay.
figured I'd be honest with you.
I know.
I mean, it got kind of chilly today. I mean, chilly is in, like 30s.
Yeah, but still. I mean, I was already like thinking, what am I gonna, plant in my garden? How am I gonna design it? Like I was getting all excited.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get excited. Not yet.
Yeah.
Give it another week or two. It's still, it's still tournament time.
I know.
Yeah, you can't jump ahead yet.
I know, but I was just finally looking forward to it. I had my doors and windows open.
I know.
After being cooped up for so long.
I know. And then that's what they do to you, You get
Jeez.
It's the March fake out, right?
Yeah.
You get those couple of real good days, 50s and 60s, and you're like, you know what? I should have dinner on the porch. And I did. I had dinner on the porch on Sunday, right?
Yeah. I walked to the bakery.
Yep.
Did all that stuff.
Yep. It's a nice day outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was so nice. And then, and then bingo, bango, bongo. We're back in the deep freeze. Then I was driving on my way to St. Cloud this morning, and lo and behold,
snow flurries.
Well, just a little bit on the windshield, but it's supposed to happen overnight tonight. So it's supposed to get about an inch, and then overnight tomorrow we're supposed to get another inch.
Ugh. Is tomorrow your last day going to St. Paul for the week?
Or St. Cloud?
I mean, not St. Paul. Sorry, St. Cloud.
No.
It had a saint in there.
No. Rest of the week. I'm Wednesday, Thursday,
okay.
Friday. Yep.
Gotcha.
So, yep. I'm there for the rest of the week, filling in for Todd, producing Hot Talk with the Ox. Putting on the radio voice, Hot Talk with the Ox. So, yeah. I wear many hats.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
That's good.
As far as I go, Mel, again this week, producing Hot Talk with the Ox up at KNSI Radio. And tomorrow on the big program, Richard Estep is back with us as we are talking monsters, myths, legends, and real encounters. Big show tomorrow.
Very cool.
Yeah. Big show tomorrow with Richard. Looking forward to having him on the program as always. Richard always brings it. Every single program that we have with Richard.
Right. Well, goodness, he's like an author of like 50,000 books.
I don't know about that many, but...
Well, I know it's an exaggeration, but he has a lot of books out there.
Yeah, he does. But he's got that brand new book out. It's out this week. If you want to do a little homework before tomorrow, go pick up a copy of the book, read it real quick, come back tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But yeah, Richard Estep tomorrow on the big program. So, all right, folks, that'll do it for today. Couple of quick notes for you. Go support the show. Go to darknessradioshow.com. Pick up a brand new hoodie or t-shirt, Darkness Radio hoodie or t-shirt. We also have a rocks glass. Go have a cocktail with your buddies Tim and Mallie while you're listening to the show with your brand new Darkness Radio rocks glass. Sound good?
Nice.
Yeah, go do that. Also, we should have the update any day now. I'm still waiting to hear from our developer about the Darkness Radio Apple app. That should be up anytime now. And what's my other and here, Mel? I don't know. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. We've done enough today. But again, tomorrow, Richard Estep, monsters, myths, legends, and real encounters. Right here on the big program. Cool. Tomorrow. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for tuning in today for Supernatural News and Parashare. Right here on the best in paranormal programming. This is Darkness Radio.